Hey, it's Amaya K. Welcome back to Amaya's Take. Welcome to season 2 of Amaya's Take. And today's episode is going to be a letter to myself. Recently, I was like, how I even came up with this episode topic was recently I was at work just like thinking about like where I've been and in life just in general, like kind of just like what has happened in this past like 6 months to a year. And I'm like, a lot has changed and I have so much, like I'm just in so much awe of myself. And so and so to me, like I'm just really proud of myself, and I'm just in awe and amazement of myself. And this is the first time that I actually feel like I have been really proud of myself for how far I've come and everything like that. So that's what today is. And you guys are gonna, if you're looking at this, you guys are going to see me pull up my phone because that's where I'm looking at what I wrote down. But yeah, so let's get into the quote of the day. All right. And so the quote of the day is, some of the best days of your life haven't happened yet. Just relax and keep going. The reason why I chose this quote is because I need to listen to it. I need to follow it so much because I'm one of these people, I think far in the future, and I want to know like where am I gonna be, who are gonna be my friends, who am I gonna be dating. I think so far in advance in the future, and I don't really just, I'm not very present. Like I'm very much so, I live in the future. And so recently I've just been really trying to be present and just focusing on what's going on right now and what is right in front of me, and not worrying about things that I have no control over. Again, that's another thing that I like to do, worry about things that I have no control over. And they're not productive things at all. And I was watching a TikTok and this TikTok was basically saying worrying is a misuse of your imagination. And that is really true. Like worrying about things that I can't control is doing nothing for me but just just filling my head with just negative thoughts. And I don't want to be that person just thinking negatively about things, which I'm exposing myself. If you guys know this part of myself, I don't show outwardly, but I can be very negative. Very negative. And recently, like I had just a spout of just where I was complaining about things that I had no business complaining about. And like I just would complain all the time, and I'm super blessed and I'm super fortunate, and instead of just being like, oh yeah, like I'm so grateful for those things, I was just being super negative about where I'm at in life, worrying about things that I can't control, and just really just complaining all the time. And it wasn't until like both of my parents told me like, hey, we're done hearing your mess. Like we're done hearing the BS. We're done hearing all of this complaining because it's doing nothing. And if you have nothing positive to say, we're not going to talk to you. And as y'all know, your girl likes to talk. And so it really just kind of like put it into perspective that I really was being really negative. And I can be a negative Nancy at times. And so that really just showed me like, hey, I need to take a step back and I need to really reframe the way I think about things and restructure my thoughts. And it's so ironic because at that same time that I was going through that in my own life, someone that I know hit me up. We were like texting or whatever, and they were being really like, negative too in the way they were thinking and their intrusive thoughts. And I gave them, that advice that I hadn't even really thought about. But it was like when I was able to give this person advice so easily, and I was like, why don't I do that with myself? Like I give other people advice so easily, but when it comes to me in my life, I be acting like I don't know what to do when I really do know what to do. And so just doing that, it really put that into perspective. And so I'm taking my own advice. I am reframing and restructuring my negative thoughts. And if you have trouble with that, you're not alone, sis or bro, whoever's listening. You're not alone, okay? At all, because your girl, she does it all day, every day. It's like this game where I have to continuously reframe and restructure and be like, we're like, for all my TikTok watchers, y'all know what that is. But I just have to really constantly tell myself to hey, let's not go down that road and pull myself back from going down a spiral, because your girl can, as soon as I complain about one thing, then I complain about everything. So I'm working on myself to not be so negative, and it's been working, and I'm very proud of myself. And so to go back to the quote of the day is, I'm really learning to just be calm and take every day one day at a time, because I'm so much so I want to look down the line and be like, oh my gosh, it's so much work, or it's like I look down the road at what's to come. And this whole year, in this past 6 months, has really showed me that you can plan to be in one place, and then it flip it completely upside down to where you're somewhere where you never thought you'd be. And it's all in a good and positive way. But at the time I did not look at it in that way at all. I didn't. I was like, I'm so upset that I have to. And then what I'm talking about is recently I had a big change. You haven't noticed. I'm back home. I don't know if I have talked about this or not, but I'm back home from school, from the university that I went to previously, and now I'm at a completely different university. And I was really upset in the beginning of having to, to move, to move schools, because I had been like, this is where I started. I want to finish here, right? And I had that kind of mentality. But, that place, it was great for those years. And, you have to know when to walk away. And I'm glad that I knew when it was time to walk away and to not force things that are no longer good for me, because that wasn't good for me anymore. It was a place where I had learned everything that I needed to learn, and it was truly like it would have not been a good thing for me to stay there. So I'm glad that I knew in that moment that, you know what, I gotta get up and let it go, and let and let that thought go that, hey, this is where I'm going to finish school and graduate. It's like, baby, it's not for you anymore, and it's okay. And I look back now and I'm like, I had such a great time at that school, and it was so great, and I learned so much. And to be honest, I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't go to that school and then have those kind of experiences. So I'm just really proud of myself. And I'm just like, that's life. It changes all the time. So, you just have to put that in perspective and just accept those things, and really just be at peace, knowing like, hey, it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna get through this, and you'll be okay, and you're not alone. And you're not alone. And to just take every day, one day at a time. And it's okay to like plan and have goals, but it's like you can't be so stuck on things, because things never happen the way you expect them to happen, which is actually really beautiful in a way too, to like plan it to be one way, and then you go on this amazing journey and you're like, wow, I couldn't have pictured it any other way, and this way is so much better because of what I gained from it, and the information that I gained, and just the people that I've met, and the places that I've gone. So now I'm looking at it from a more positive viewpoint and being like, hey, this is beautiful to be able to move schools. Might I add, got a 4.0 my first semester. Clap it up for your girl. Might I add, okay, 4.0, had never done it before, and now I know what to do and just how to get that grade. And really, it's really just taking it one day at a time, and not stressing. Like, it's just like just do it. Like, ain't nothing to it but to do it. Just take it one day at a time, and you got it. So that's what I've really learned from my last semester at the school that I'm currently at last spring. Like, it really taught me, like, Amaya, you can do whatever you set your mind to, and you are intelligent and smart and all of those things. So you need to act like it, and stop thinking that you don't got it, because you got it. Like, so that's what it really taught me. And now, like, I have so much more respect for myself, and I'm just so proud of myself. Like, I have this pride that I don't think I had before, and it's not because of like my 4.0 in school. It's not because of that. It's just because I really have seen that I can do so much, and I can actually do it, and I'm not gonna break. I'm not gonna fall. Like I got this, So that was my little rant. Not even rant. That was just my little take on the quote of the day. So let's get into Amaya's take on a letter to my younger self. Okay. And so I wrote in my notes some things that I would say to my younger self. All right, so letter to my younger self. The first thing that I would tell my younger self. Okay, let's go to like 18. Okay, the one thing I would tell my 18-year-old self, about to start college, and just about to go on this journey, I would tell her, I love you, because I don't think I said it enough to myself. I don't even think at that time that I believed that I loved myself, or maybe I did, but I just think now I would just really tell my younger self, hey, I love you, and your love for yourself is enough. You don't need anyone else to give you that love. You already have it within you. So that's what I would tell myself. I feel like I really loved myself, but I don't think I really showed myself the love that I wanted from other people. And so that's what I would tell myself. I love you, and your love is enough, and show it to yourself. The next thing that I would say, embrace every part of who you are, especially the parts you don't like. So I used to be very self-conscious, especially that age. Like, I always worried about what other people thought of me, and I would kind of like mold myself to what other people liked. And I realized this because when I made my friends, when I first got to college, I was very like just extra, and I even think back to when I met them, like I was very much so like just an exaggerated version of myself, and that's not at all who I am. That's not at all who I want to be. And it was fake. Like, I wasn't like that, and so it was just really weird. So I say all that to say is I would tell my 18-year-old self to, hey, embrace who you are. Like, it's okay to be weird. It's okay to be goofy. Like, you don't have to fit into who these people want you to be. Just be who you are, or you don't have to like guess who do I need to be. Just be yourself. If that means being goofy, if that just means being a nice, kind-hearted person who's just silly, like, be who you are. Like, don't try and guess and be like, well, they're acting like this, so I need to try and be like that. No, that's not who you are. It's gonna come off weird. Like, people are gonna be like, why is she weird? Because it's like people already can tell who you kind of like are based off of what you present in the energy you give off. Like, people can really sense that, and then when you flip the script, then it creates issues. And if you would have just been you from the jump, you wouldn't have those issues. You may not be friends with them people, and that's perfectly fine. Like I would tell my younger self to, sis, embrace who you are, and especially physically, embrace what you look like, accept what you look like, and it's okay. It's okay to be. It's okay to be bigger, and just be able to show yourself love, and you don't need the validation from other people, especially dudes. I used to want that validation, like I used to. Like, that's a whole different story about, maybe I might talk about that, but that's a whole different story about being jealous of my friends. That's a whole other thing too that that I would get into. But honestly, just to really tell myself, embrace who you are, and the right people will come at the right time, because it's okay to be by yourself. And that's another thing too that I tell myself. It's okay to be alone. I would rather be alone than be with the wrong people and the wrong kind of friends, and I would rather be alone, because that can really wreck your spirit and wreck your soul and really hurt you in a really bad way. So I would tell myself, embrace who you are, because it's beautiful. Let's all cry now. No, I'm kidding. But okay. The next thing that I would tell myself is, you are a light in this dark world. I think for like a long time I didn't want to believe that I was like that I that like people would like tell me, oh Amaya, you're so sweet, and I would just reject it and be like, I wouldn't like it. Like I just would be like, why do people keep calling me sweet? Like I don't like being called that. I really didn't. For like the longest period of time, people would say, oh Amaya is so sweet, Amaya is so kind. And I used to think of it as like this like way, I don't know, like I just did not like that compliment. I didn't think that it was a compliment. I just didn't like, I didn't appreciate people thinking that I was just like sweet, kind person. And I think I looked at it as like a weakness, but it's really like my strength. Which the last thing that I wrote to myself is kindness and love are your strengths. And so honestly, that goes along with embracing that. If that's who I am, like if I'm just the sweetest, kindest person that you'll ever meet, embrace that. Like that's who I am. And I think for a long time, like I tried to like kind of like suppress that, like who I was in that way of being kind and sweet. And I didn't want to come off that way. I took it as like a weakness. I took it like people would not like respect me. And I used to say, people don't respect nice people. No. The wrong people do not respect nice people, and those are the kind of people we don't want. We don't want around us, and we don't need them people to respect us. Respect yourself first enough to walk away from those people, for real. Respect yourself enough to throw up the peace signs. Be like, deuces, okay? Respect yourself enough to do that, to get rid of them people, because you don't need. Oh, and the really last thing that I would tell myself is you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You don't. Like, why are you up here trying to prove yourself and prove your worth to these people who don't really like you, who don't care about you, who don't know you? They don't matter to you. So why are you trying to prove yourself to them when they have shown to not even like you? That's what I tell myself. You don't have to prove yourself. Stop trying to prove to other people who you are. Stop trying to prove your value. And if they see it, then great. If they don't, great. Because you don't need other people to see who you are, because I see me and I know who I am. And I think that just comes with like, first off, I just think that just comes with experience, as well as just I think over time, as you get older, you just start walking in your power and walking in your assertiveness, which took me a minute to be assertive, and you just walk in your assuredness of yourself and awareness of who you are, and you're like, what people think about me and what people say about me is none of my business. And that's what my mama taught me too. My mama said, Amaya, what people think about you and what people say about you is none of your business. And if they talking behind your back, you must be doing something right. So if you talking, cool, great. Keep talking then, because I'm doing big things, big and great things. And that's on period. But those are just some things like that I would have told like my younger self if I could go back in time and talk to her. Is I would just tell her those things. And then also I think I would just tell myself to not look for my happiness in somebody else. The last thing that I would tell myself back then is to not worry about being in a relationship, because I know plenty of us, I'm speaking for myself, I know a lot of us cannot wait and are excited to find that person and to find our person, or to find a partner, just someone to do life with. And I just think at that time, like I really wanted that. And I mean, everybody wants that. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say like I still don't want that. Like, I do want that, but I think I was like in a different place. I wanted it for selfish reasons, and I think like now I'm getting into wanting it for more not selfish reasons, because back then it was coming from like, this person can do this and make me happy, and it's gonna love me and all that. And that's, you should not get into a relationship, you know, needing all of, like, you know, needing that desperately from another person. You should be giving it to yourself. And so I remember I wrote down in my notes, a relationship, two people should be coming with full cups, meaning like, meaning if you got like 2 3 full cups, you have so much more to work with, and you can give more, and it be in abundance, like, and it's gonna be so much more than if one person has like half a cup and the other person got has like almost a full cup, but it's not there yet. And that person's gonna be drained, pouring into you, and then you don't have, and then you're like, but this is my cup, like it's full now, and you're not gonna give anything. And that's a one-sided relationship. So I really wanted that back then, and that's how I thought. And you know, we all grow, we all evolve, thank God. But that's the way I was like thinking. And now I think of it like, okay, I want to be the best version of myself. So you know, I can add that positivity and light and happiness to somebody else's life, and then vice versa. I also want to be with somebody who is the best they can be at that time that we meet, so we can both be getting the best from one another and not getting these traumatized versions of each other. And so to anyone that's like me, who is waiting to be in a relationship, wanting that, just really, I know it's hard, but focus on yourself. It'll be well worth it. Do the work now before you get in a relationship. Do as much of it as you can, and just enjoy being single. Enjoy not having to report back to somebody, like being like, hey, like, oh, I did X, Y, and Z, which is great to be in a relationship. I'm not downing nobody that's in a relationship. Actually, clapping for you. Can't wait. I can wait, but I'm excited for when it happens for me. But you know, right now I think just to be single, be happy, you know, really focus on the things that make you happy. And also take yourself out. Girls, guys, whoever is listening, take yourself out to places. And that's the way to meet people. It's all about connecting with people. It's not about like, I need to find somebody now. No, it's about connecting with different people and meeting them, and just connecting and learning and having conversations. That's what it's about. It's so, and in the process, if you find a great person to be with, and that's gonna love you, and vice versa, and you love them, then that's just great. And so I just say, focus on making connections with people, and not so much trying to be with somebody and trying to get cuffed to somebody. Just focus on yourself, and focus on just being happy where you're at and accepting it. And like the quote, just chill out, relax, because everything is going to happen in its right time. And I truly believe that, because I'm in the place that I need to be, and I am happy right now. So I say to anyone else, focus on yourself, be happy, or work on being happy. If you're not in that place, find out things that make you happy. Really ask yourself the question, what makes me happy? What do I like to do? And start spending time with yourself and doing those things that make you happy. And find things that you're passionate about. And those things will give you fulfillment, and will give you things to talk about with that person that you meet. So yeah, so this was aMaYa's take on a letter to my younger self. This is just some advice that I'm giving to myself and also to y'all if y'all are in that same space. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening too. Also, if you want to stay connected with me in the podcast, please go follow my podcast page. It is at aMaYa's aMaYa's _taKe on Instagram. And you can also follow me, not follow me, but subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can watch it because it's going to be a video version of the podcast. So, and my YouTube channel name is capital A, lowercase MAYA space capital K, Amaya K on YouTube. And you can also follow me on TikTok at official Amaya K on TikTok as well. All of those links or ads will be in the description box down below. Thank you guys for listening and watching. Oh, also comment either down below if you're watching or write a review wherever you're listening. My podcast is on Podbean, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and is it on those two? I think it's Google Podcast. My podcast is on Google Podcasts, Podbean, Apple Podcasts. I think one more, but if not, then you already know it's on YouTube as well. So thank you guys so much, and write a review, rate it 5 stars. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I greatly appreciate it. And until next time, stay blessed and stay beautiful, baby.